All right, let's make a podcast. What is up, everybody? It is Abby, the host of the Kinda Messy podcast. It's so great to have you. I'm so looking forward to this episode. Let's jump right on into it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of the Kinda Messy podcast. I'm so excited. I'm so nervous. I'm not very good at talking. But we're just gonna kind of, pilot episode, get a little comfortable. It's not gonna be as long as the next ones are gonna be. It's about 10:15, and I have to be up at 4 a.m. So, if that isn't kind of messy, I don't know. Well, I do know what is. Anyway, let's keep going. So, I got my Black Cherry White Claw here. I'm gonna crack that bad boy open. Sorry for headphone users, and get all loosey-goosey, and let's go. So, here we go. It's just going to be kind of like a little get-to-know-me kind of podcast. As you could tell from the introduction, my name is Abby. I'm 25 years old, and I don't really do a whole heck of a lot. I do YouTube. I work in sheet metal, which is super fun. Probably do an episode on that, as well as a YouTube video, because I'm not very interesting. But I've been doing that for the last couple years. I've worked retail for a really long time. I just started school again, which is kind of a pain in the butt, just because everything's online, and the school that I chose to go to is literally in the bottom of the United States. Decided to go for a college in Florida, but whatever, they're good to me already. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I put out some feelers on Instagram, and no one really answered my question boxes. I'm pretty sure nobody actually looks at my stories, but, save that sob story for another time. I got some questions on my Facebook, where I just posted, what kind of questions would you ask someone if you're getting to know them, besides their name? Because I knew there was going to be that one guy, or person, that would just be like, oh, what's your name? Because that's how people work. Anyway, I got one. I've never seen an episode of Game of Thrones in my entire life, and a friend of mine from, middle school commented on it. What's your house? You're not one of them bloody Lannisters, are you? I knew what he was talking about as soon as I read the comment, because even though I've never seen an episode, just because, the death, I know that. I know what that is. Anyway, somebody else asked, favorite dinosaur? Honestly, I have no clue. What would my favorite dinosaur be? Probably a Stegosaurus. Yeah, I think a Stegosaurus. Get a couple other ones here. Aspirations. That one's deep. Be happy, I guess. Be as happy as I can be. And just kind of keep living life as much as I can. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Well, hopefully a degree and owning my own business. I already do own my own business, but my own successful business. I'm a photographer. It's not working out the best for me just because of where I live. I live in New Hampshire, so everybody here is a photographer. It's just comes with the territory because of how New Hampshire is. Just kind of how it is. Anyway, owning my own creative studio, creative space. I want to work for myself. I'm really tired of working for other people. I don't like it. I want to set my own schedule. I want to do things on my own terms. And I want to be able to support my family, support myself and T, and just, have my own life, Take a shot every time I say, Geez, these are deep. If you could redo a time in your life, where and why? I don't have a time I would want to redo. Everything that has happened to me that I've done has come to a head. I smacked my phone off my computer. Has come to a head here, and like I'm pretty content with where I am. Like I don't want to change a whole lot except for, my work. I don't really want to work for somebody else anymore, but that's kind of where we are right now, and that's kind of what we have to do in order to, live. But I don't really have a time that I would want to redo. It's not really something that I think would benefit me. Because, like I said, everything that I've gone through, good or bad, has brought me to the kind of person that I am now, and has helped me become a better human in general. You know what I mean? On to the next one. What would you say your greatest regret is as of now? I think probably not getting help when I should have in the first place. I have manic anxiety and major depressive disorder, as well as ADHD, and with manic anxiety comes a lot of panic attacks, and I have a migraine disorder because of it. So I feel like if I had gotten help, or if I had thought of getting help earlier in my life, probably wouldn't be nearly as bad as it actually is now, because it's pretty bad now. I've missed a lot of work because of it, which is another reason why I want to work for myself. I won't feel like I'm constantly doing something wrong by putting my health first. Yeah, kind of just not getting help when I should have, because I feel like that would have helped me a lot more in life. But like I said, everything that's happened to me in my life is the way it is because of the decisions that I've made. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there. I didn't expect these questions to be super, super deep. So sorry if this is getting very morbid. I'll try to not be morbid. The dinosaur question I should have thrown in the middle of these, but Stegosaurusi. It's like 10:30 at night. I'm tired. That would have probably lightened the mood a lot. Anyway, what was the greatest heartache you ever felt? Probably when my dog died. Yeah, that was really heartbreaking. I've only had really one friend since elementary school that I've spoken to and actually kept in contact with, and that's my best friend Ashley, because we have the same lunchbox. And I'm sure I'll probably have her as a guest, I hope, eventually, on the pod. So we'll talk about that. But the reason why we're friends is because we had matching lunchboxes, and I'm pretty sure they were Barbie lunchboxes, if I remember correctly. We've been friends for almost 20 years now, which is absolutely insane to think about. Like, actually insane to think about. Yowza. That's a long-ass time. Anyway, I'm thinking too much about how old I am. I'm only 25. Why am I worried about this? Whatever. So, yeah, I guess when my pup died, I was really sad. He was like my best friend. That was where that tangent was going. He was like my best friend, and the only person that I feel like he was a pup, but the only thing that I could really connect with, I guess. You can talk to a dog all you want, and they're not going to care as long as you give them scritches on their ears. I miss him a lot. His name is Buddy, and he was a black lab. Well, a black lab mixed with like 8 other different breeds of dog. And he was kind of dumb, but I loved him very much, and I was very sad that I don't have him anymore. But Trav's dad has a pit bull. Her name is Sheba, and she's a little cuddle bug. I love her. And his brother also has a dog. She's a puggle. Her name is Zoe. We call her Bose because she's a little bit of a bozo. But she's a little cuddle bug too. She'll just jump right on you and give you kisses. And, well, if you know her, if you don't know her, she because she's a puggle, she howls. I heard her howl for the first time last year when they moved into their house. They were going to buy a fridge. And I stayed back so the dog wouldn't be alone because that's the kind of person I am. Can't leave the dog alone. I can't. It makes me sad. But she has separation anxiety because she's part pug. And because she's part beagle, she howls. And that was the first time I had ever heard her howl. She's just running around the kitchen in the living room, just whining because Dad's not there. And then all of a sudden she plops herself down in front of the couch in front of me and just howls. Like, throws her head back and howls. That was the weirdest thing I've ever heard come out of that little body. And she makes a lot of weird noises. Anyway, I got off track. Wow, I love dogs. I especially those two. I love them so much. Define what loyalty means to you. I guess it means what the word is. Like, okay, so what I think loyalty actually truly means is, like, if I did something bad, I would want my friend to keep me accountable because they're staying loyal to me, in turn staying loyal to my character. And if my character is being damaged, and I'm talking like a video game character, I mean like my personal character is being damaged because of something I'm doing, I want them to hold me accountable. Like, if I murdered somebody, I would want them to turn me in, not help me. Even though they probably help me, I would want them to turn me in because that would be breaking my character. I've been watching a lot of Criminal Minds lately. Anyway, how would you describe the feeling of being in love? These are really deep questions. I guess kind of what I feel for T. Like, I know I could tell him anything and, I mean, he'll judge me, but he won't judge me, if that makes sense. He'll give me a hard time because that's the kind of person he is, but he'll also sit down and help me find a solution to my problems if that's what I need, And that's what I need my mans to do, is to help me out when I have problems. And he's really good about that. Harry Potter house? Oh, the next question is, what's my Harry Potter house? I am a Hufflepuff, if you can't tell. And surprisingly enough, my best friend Ashley is a Slytherin. You know how Slytherins have their little Hufflepuff buddies? Huffle buddies? I am Ashley's Huffle buddy. And she is my Slytherin pal. Like, it just, like, it can't get any funnier than that. Her roommate, we also went to high school with, and he is also a Slytherin, so they have a flag hanging up in their apartment. And I joked if I ever moved in with them that we would have to find a Hufflepuff one. And they were okay with it, obviously, because, if they have a Slytherin one, they're okay with having a different Harry Potter one. I sound tired. I'm tired. I'm sorry if this is rambly, but this is kind of how this podcast is going to go. I'm surprised I haven't sworn anymore. Hobbies. Well, like I said, I'm a photographer. I actually just did a senior portrait session a couple weeks ago, and I handed off the final images. I unwatermarked them so they could post them and print them however they wanted. And they ended up really liking them. And I was really, really nervous the whole time because, number one, the client that I took is a friend of my mom's. She was her college roommate, and they played softball together, I think, or field hockey. I think it was softball. I don't know. And then it ended up being that my oldest younger sister, I have 3, I guess that's another fun fact. I have 3 younger sisters. The youngest one is 19. And she's also a beautiful Amazon woman. The rest of us are like the same size, but Emily is like, I think she's 6'2", or like just over 6'2", like barely. But I digress. The oldest younger one, her boyfriend's mom played softball and went to college with my mom and this friend that I did her son's senior portraits. There we go. That's the word. That's the words I was looking for. But yeah, I was afraid that I lost my touch because I hadn't done it in a while. I hadn't had any clients in a while just because I was supposed to. And then, you know how you have those people that ask you to do something and then just don't, if that makes sense? Like, this isn't hypothetical, but I'm going to say it's hypothetical just because. Hypothetically, you have a friend or someone you consider your friend or someone that you know, but mostly your friend, because this happens a lot with people that I thought were my friends. They ask you to do something, and I would do it for free. This is a hobby. I want to make it a career, but this is a hobby right now. I need to build my portfolio in order to actually make it a career. But regardless, you have these friends that ask you to do something, and when you say, yes, I will definitely do it, just let me know what day and time. And you check up on them every few days or every week, and either they don't respond, like ignore the message completely, leave you on red, which is the absolute worst, and then, well, that's not the absolute worst. I'll get to the absolute worst. Tell you that they're no longer doing that project, which I get that, whatever. But then you have the people that, because like I said, photographer, these people go with someone else to take their photos, which that's not the part I'm butthurt about. It's me checking up constantly and like seeing if they actually want to do this project with me. And then these people end up going with someone else and just blatantly not telling me. And then a week later, the photos are posted on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. It just kind of like hurts, you know? It hurts my heart, and it makes me think that I'm not worthy of an explanation, and that kind of sucks, but I digress. Life's kind of messy. We're just going to keep rolling with it, and I just won't bother anymore, you know? I'll just keep rolling in my lane and keep doing what I want to do and what makes me happy. Capiche? Caposh. Caposh is not part of the word. Well, I guess we can talk about family since I already started. I have a mom and a dad and 3 sisters. I'm 25, and there's 23, 21, and 19. And currently, me and the 21-year-old are living at home. The youngest, the 19-year-old, is at college. And the 23-year-old is living with her boyfriend in another town. She's not too far away, but she lives in another town. So that's kind of the dynamic we've got. 4 girls, all 2 years apart. Everyone always says my poor dad, but the thing that people don't understand is, like, I acted like a boy. I still do. I work in sheet metal, for crying out loud. Like, I have a man job, or I shouldn't say that. I have a more masculine job, or at least that's what people consider it to be. And like, my sisters don't. Actually, Emily worked at Home Depot for a long time. I think it was like the whole summer. She made more money than I did a few weeks out of the summer, which is kind of sad for me. Good for her. I'm very proud of her. I'm very proud of all of them. But yeah, rambling again. Let's continue. But yeah, Alicia graduated, and she's got her degree. She's getting her money making on. I love her boyfriend. He's really funny. And then Nikki's still in school, and so is Emily. Emily just went back. She's on campus right now. And all of us are technically in school except for Alicia, the oldest one. Which I think she said something about considering going back for her master's, but I don't know if she's actually going to do it. I think she should. I think it would be a cool experience. I might consider going back depending on how my bachelor's program goes. Speaking of which, I guess this is another fun fact I can talk about. Hold on. White Claw break. I'm in school to be a graphic designer, which is something that I've been interested in forever. But I never had the balls to actually go after it and do it because I was so afraid of going back to school. I quit school twice, dropped out twice, fully dropped out, and deciding to go back 4 years later, almost 5 years later now. I went to Plymouth State for almost an entire semester. I flunked out of 3 of my 5 classes. I'm a good role model. And then I came back home and I started working overnights at Walmart, which that could be a whole nother podcast. I worked there on and off for 3.5 years, I think, 3 years. I had some good stories and I had some bad stories, but that's another podcast. I tried to go back to Great Bay, which is here in Portsmouth, and they have a location in Rochester too, but I mostly went to the Portsmouth location, and I ended up just dropping out again because I couldn't keep up with the course load. But this program I'm taking is an expedited 29-month bachelor's program, so each month you get a class, and at the end, you get your degree. If you pass all the classes, whatever. I've had so much trouble with the financial aid office. And it's not their fault. It's, for some reason, my FAFSA had my first name spelled wrong since I was 17. Or 18. No, 17. I did it when I was 17. Don't understand how, but my first name was spelled wrong. And usually it's my last name people have an issue spelling, but it was my first name. And I don't remember if I did it with my mom or if I did it with the guidance counselor the first time. But regardless, it was spelled wrong. And so I've had to fix it 4 times. And like I said, not their fault. But I'm really glad they checked up on it, because if they didn't, then my financial aid would be all messed up. But yeah, so that's that. Now that I'm done rambling that way, I kind of, I don't really have any other questions, which kind of sucks. But like I said, this podcast wasn't going to be the longest podcast ever. I wish it was longer, but nobody ever answers my stories. So I guess that's this is going to kind of be where I leave off until next week. I'll have a little more of an exciting episode next week. Sorry if this wasn't exciting. I just wanted to get my foot in the door, and if people are actually listening to this, have them get to know me, learn the platform that I'm recording on and posting on a little bit more, and we'll see where that goes. And like I said, 4 times already, we'll have a way more exciting episode next week. I promise. It's probably just going to be me again, because if I record during the week, it's going to be a little short notice to have a guest. Unless I force Travis to do it, which he's not going to. Or I convince my sister. Maybe that'll be fun. Unsure. Well, I guess this is kind of where I'm going to leave off. So, if you want to follow me on IG, it's Get Fit With Me, GETFTWITME for my personal page. The Kinda Messy Pod for the podcast's page. And if you want to follow my art page, it's Blurred Lines Creations, BLURREDLINES Creations. All lowercase, everything's lowercase, yada yada. So if you want to follow me on there, we'll be posting for the podcast for next week, taking ideas, yada yada yada, yada yada yada. Don't take a shot every time I say yada yada because you're going to be blackout in 5 minutes. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to the first episode. Like I said 100 times already, I promise next week will be way more exciting or just way more fun. But regardless, thank you so much for listening. I really, really appreciate it. And I will see you next week. Bye.